Hi everybody, in this video I'd like to do a few more multiplication problems, particularly on some harder examples where we're either cubing something, so not just squaring it but going up to the cube, or you can see below here I have two trinomials that I'm multiplying. So this could be a great video to actually just try these problems yourself first and see if you can figure them out, work on your multiplication, and then check your answers in the end. For cubing, what you're going to do is you're going to start by writing this out. Now, there are formulas you can memorize to cube something, but in all honesty, I just find it much easier personally just to multiply it out rather than trying to memorize and use correctly another formula. So I would write this out 3 times because I'm cubing it. And again, you can apply this to really to any exponent that you have. So as we multiply out, when we have more than just 2 things that we're multiplying, you have to multiply them 2 at a time. So for instance, there's no way to distribute this to all the pieces at once. You just can't do it. It doesn't matter which 2 you start with because multiplication is commutative. So I'm just going to start with the first 2 and just focus on that. So I'm going to do 3a times 3a, which would be 9a squared. 3a times b is 3ab. On the inside, you have a b times 3a, so that's another 3ab. Again, the order doesn't really matter. I like to do alphabetical order. That's pretty standard. But you could also write 3ba. And then here, b times b is b squared. Now, I'm going to stop for a second. I'm not going to bring this in just yet. I am going to clean this up, though. So if you do have like terms like we do with those 2 middle pieces here, I would highly recommend you combine them. It's going to make your life easier later on. So I would have a 6ab there. And then what I'll do is I'll bring down the next piece. And now I'll multiply out again. So I'm going to take everything in the first piece and distribute it to the second one. So let me just change colors just so you can see the difference here. So I'm going to take this 9a squared, multiply it by 3a, and then b. So in the first case, 9 times 3 is 27. So 27. A squared times a is a cubed. And then 9a squared times b is just 9a squared b. Then I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing, but for the 6ab. So I'm going to multiply that with the 3a and then also with the b. So let's see, 6 times 3 is 18, so that's 18. A times a is a squared, and then don't forget you have a b here. And then I have 6a, and b times b is b squared. And then I'm going to do the last one, so b squared times 3a, and b squared times b. So b squared times 3a is just 3ab squared, and b squared times b is b cubed. And then what I'll do again is I'll clean it up now. So anything that has like terms can get put together. So let's see here. These 2 can go together. They're both a squared b. 18 and 9 is going to be 27. And then these 2 here do go together. They're both a b squared. So those pieces are exactly the same. And 6 plus 3 is 9. And then at this point, we are done. So one thing I do want to note here is that these 2 in the middle are different, right? So even though they look like they should be the same, the squares are in different positions. So they are not the same. They cannot be combined as like terms. And let me just double check my notes. Perfect. These are really easy to make little mistakes on. So I just wanted to confirm that I had not made any mistakes in this video. And that would be our final answer. So for these longer problems, you're really just taking your time when you multiply, and just be careful of little tiny mistakes. It's really easy to make a mistake. And also only 2 at a time. So there's no shortcut way for me to tell you to multiply like multiple things at a time with x's here as soon as you have addition or subtraction in there. You just take it 2 at a time, regroup, and then multiply through for the next one. Another example I have here is going to be multiplying trinomials. So in this case, we're going to do the same process. I only have 2 things I'm multiplying, so I'm just going to take my time here. I'm going to start by distributing through the 2x squared first. So I'm going to multiply that to every single group in the second, or every single piece, I should say, of the second group. So 2x squared times x squared would be 2x to the fourth. 2x squared times 5x would be 10. And then I'd have x cubed. And then 2x squared times negative 2 would be negative 4x squared. Now moving on, I'm going to do the negative 3x, and again, to all three pieces in the next group. Negative 3x times x squared is negative 3x cubed. Negative 3x times 5x is going to be negative 15x squared. And then negative 3x times negative 2 is positive 6x. And now don't forget the 4. So I'm going to take that 4 and also distribute it to each of those pieces. So 4 times x squared is 4x squared. 4 times 5x is 20x. And 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. Now I'm going to go through and combine like terms. There's nothing to combine with 2x to the 4th, so I'll rewrite that. If I look at my cubes here, I have 1 there and 1 there. So that would be 7x cubed. If it helps, you may want to just lightly cross it out when you're done. Now I would do my squares. I have a negative 4x squared, a negative 15x squared, and a positive 4x squared. So that would leave me with negative 15x squared. Moving on to my x's, I have a 6x and a 20x. That's 26x. And then all that's left is my minus 8. And again, checking my notes here, because again, these are just, they're not difficult, but they can be pretty tedious and really easy to make mistakes. So it's key that you know your multiplying rules and your distributive property rules, and then basically we just extend those principles further. Now, in my videos, you're going to notice that I tend to do everything horizontally. That's the style that I kind of always focus on in my education. So I just write things horizontally, but there are ways to multiply vertically. So if you're interested in that, I do suggest you check out the textbook or check out other YouTube videos if you want to learn a different technique for multiplying. So writing things vertically instead, you can do that as well. So again, I tend to prefer this horizontal technique. It's the one that I think is most common for people, but you're encouraged if you have a different way that you've learned to multiply. I know there's a lot of different strategies now. You're more than welcome to do that as well, as long as you can get the correct answer in the end. And of course, be able to actually show and follow the work as well.